Hello students, today I shall discuss about humidity and precipitation. This humidity plays an important role in cloud formation. So it is very important to know about this humidity. What is humidity? Humidity means amount of water vapor present in unit volume of air. What is unit volume? If you take a cube of 1 meter height, 1 meter length and 1 meter width, then its volume would be 1 meter cube. So the moisture present in this volume of air would be the humidity of that particular volume. Now this humidity can be quantitatively measured by three ways, that is absolute humidity, specific humidity and relative humidity. Now let us take each of them one by one. What is absolute humidity? Absolute humidity means water vapor present in unit volume of air at particular temperature. I am using word temperature because somewhere this absolute humidity is affected by temperature. If you either increase or decrease the temperature, definitely you are going to change the value of absolute humidity. Its unit is gram per meter cube. Since this absolute humidity is temperature dependent, so it is not used in cloud formation. You can better understand this absolute humidity. Suppose if 2 gram of water vapor is present in 1 meter cube volume of air, then the absolute humidity of that air would be 2 gram per meter cube. Now, if we increase the temperature of this air, then what will happen? The air will expand, but the amount of moisture will remain same because weight is nowhere affected by temperature. So what it means? Now the same amount of water vapor is present in larger volume, so the absolute humidity will decrease by increasing temperature. Now second is specific humidity. Specific humidity means the water vapor present in unit weight of air. Its unit is gram per kilogram. You can better understand by taking an example. Suppose if you take 2 gram of water vapor in 1 kilogram of air, then its specific humidity would be 2 gram per kilogram. Now both of these humidity are not used in cloud formation, though this specific humidity is temperature independent. Now the third is relative humidity. Before going into this relative humidity, we should know about humidity capacity. What is humidity capacity? Humidity capacity means maximum amount of water which can be held by unit volume of air at particular temperature. This is known as humidity capacity. This humidity capacity is directly proportional to the temperature. Means when you increase the temperature of the air, the humidity capacity will increase. For example, if we increase the temperature of the air will expand. Now this expanded volume will have more capacity to hold more water, and that's why this humidity capacity increases by increase of temperature. Now next now this relative humidity. This relative humidity is a ratio of absolute humidity to humidity capacity. Since it is given in percentage, so we can write the formula of this relative humidity as relative humidity is equal to absolute humidity upon humidity capacity multiplied by 100. So this is the formula for calculating the relative humidity. Relative humidity is also temperature dependent, because when you increase temperature, the humidity capacity will increase. Side by side, the absolute humidity will decrease. So the value of relative humidity will also decrease. Means absolute as well as relative humidity both are inversely proportional to the temperature, whereas humidity capacity is directly proportional to the temperature. Now, condensation of air will start only after attaining 100% relative humidity. Now, next one. Now, global water cycle. It is nothing. Global water cycle means movement of water in between atmosphere, hydrosphere and lithosphere. How this movement is achieved? There are four processes which are responsible for the movement of water in between hydrosphere, atmosphere and lithosphere. These processes are evaporation, cooling, condensation and precipitation. Now, let us take each of them one by one. What is evaporation? Evaporation means conversion of liquid into gaseous form. Here, cloud formation starts with evaporation of water from land and ocean surfaces. Due to high temperature, this mass of air containing moisture rises in troposphere. So, what happens? Here, liquid water is converted into gaseous form, that is water vapor. Now, since its temperature is high, so it will rise up in the atmosphere, and its volume, since its temperature is high with adjoining environment, so it will expand and will collect more and more moisture, and ultimately it will make a cloud. Now, next process is cooling. We know that in atmosphere, as we move upward or downward, there is change of temperature. This change of temperature with change in altitude is known as environmental lapse rate. In troposphere, when we move upward, then temperature decreases. Okay? So, this change of temperature with respect to altitude is known as environmental lapse rate, and this environmental lapse rate is of two types, that is positive and negative environmental lapse rate. Positive lapse rate means if the change in both such as altitude as well as temperature are in same direction, means if altitude is increasing and temperature is also increasing, then it would be positive. If they are opposite in direction, then there will be negative environmental lapse rate. In troposphere, the environmental lapse rate is negative, because as we increase the altitude, the temperature goes on decreasing. At the same time, when air mass containing moisture is released into this atmosphere or this environment, its temperature also changes with altitude, and the change of temperature of this air mass with respect to altitude is known as environmental adiabatic lapse rate. It is called so because there is no exchange of energy from neighboring environment for the cooling of this air mass. Now, this change of temperature of air mass with respect to altitude is known as adiabatic lapse rate, and this adiabatic lapse rate is also of two types. The first one is dry adiabatic lapse rate and the second is wet adiabatic lapse rate. So, what is dry adiabatic lapse rate? Dry adiabatic lapse rate means when an air mass which is fully dried is released into the atmosphere, then what happens? Then change of its temperature with altitude is known as dry adiabatic lapse rate. Its value is 9.8 degrees centigrade per 1000 feet. It means if you move by 1000 feet either up or down, you will find a change of 9.8 degree centigrade. Here you can see the environmental lapse rate is 6.8 degrees centigrade per 1000 feet. So, here you can see the value of dry adiabatic lapse rate is higher than that of environmental lapse rate. So, what will happen? This plume will be cooled down rapidly, and so it will become heavy and will settle down due to gravity, leading to stable atmosphere without formation of cloud. Now, second is wet adiabatic lapse rate. When an air mass which is saturated with moisture is released into the atmosphere, then the temperature change of this air mass with respect to altitude is known as wet adiabatic lapse rate, and its value is 6.5 degrees centigrade per 1000 feet. Now, this value of wet adiabatic lapse rate is lesser than that of environmental lapse rate, so it will remain warm with neighboring environment. So, it will rise up and up into the atmosphere and will collect more and more moisture, thereby forming clouds and leading to unstable environment. Now, the third process is condensation. Condensation means conversion of water vapor into liquid. Okay, so this is condensation. For condensation, there are three basic requirements, such as there must be low temperature, there must be presence of hygroscopic nuclei such as metal, salts and pollutants or particulate matters, and there must be 100% relative humidity, because only after attaining 100% relative humidity the condensation will start. Now, students, you should know about dew point. Dew point is that temperature at which condensation starts, and you know that condensation will start only after attaining 100% relative humidity. So, if relative humidity is attained at 10 degrees centigrade, it means its dew point would be 10 degrees centigrade, and if it is attained at 20 degrees centigrade, then the dew point would be 20 degrees centigrade. Now, next, forms of condensation. The condensation may be of various types such as dew, frost, mist and fog and clouds. So, what is dew? Dew means when surface temperature goes down below dew point, then water vapor present in atmosphere get condensed in the form of water, which is also known as dew drop. It generally occurs in winter season because the surface temperature is low during this season. You can very well see the dew here. Here you can see how water droplets are or dew drops are present on leaves. Now, second is frost. Frost occurs when the surface temperature decreases below freezing point. Then what happens? The water vapor present in the air gets condensed in the form of ice, solid ice you can say. So, here you can see the frost. It also occurs in winter season because the freezing temperature is possible only in winter season. Now, the third one is mist and fog. During winter season, what happens when temperature reduces or decreases or temperature goes below the dew point, what happens? The water vapor present in air get condensed in the form of water in the atmosphere, forming fog or mist. There is a basic difference between fog and mist. Mist is generally water droplets suspended in air found in rural areas where there is no pollutant, but the fog is a combination of pollutants, particulates and water droplets which are suspended in air. The visibility in mist is higher than that of fog. Now, the next one is cloud. Cloud means a visible mass of condensed watery vapor floating in the atmosphere. These are generally present at higher altitude in troposphere. You can see the figure of cloud, how the clouds are floating into the atmosphere. Now, the fourth process is precipitation. Precipitation is any product of the condensation of atmospheric water vapor that falls under gravity from cloud. Now, this precipitation is of various types such as rain, drizzle, snow, hail and sleet. What is rain? This is the most common type of precipitation. Raindrops are small when air rises slowly and large when air rises rapidly. Now, second is drizzle. It is also just like rain, but the rain drop size is very small or minute, you can say. It is formed of liquid drops, but those of drizzle are much smaller in size. Drizzle usually forms from stratus clouds which may develop when air rises slowly. The droplets of some drizzle may evaporate as they fall to the ground and thereby leading to the formation of mist. Now, the third one is snow. When water vapor get condensed directly into the form of ice, then it is known as snow. Now, what happens? Many molecules of ice joins together to form a snowflake, and this snowflake, when fall onto the earth's surface, they sometimes partially melt, which destroys their crystal structure. Now, the third one is hail. The hail, you can say, is a bigger particle of ice which are rounded in shape. Now, where these hails are formed? These hails are formed where there is rapid up and down movement of air in a thunder cloud, carry raindrops continually above and below freezing levels. The drops freeze and grow bigger. Eventually, they become too heavy for upward air current to carry them, and they fall to the ground as spherical pieces of ice called hail. And the last one is sleet. Sleet means raindrops may freeze as they fall through a layer whose temperature is below freezing point. This produces sleet, which is actually frozen rain. Sleet usually forms when there is temperature inversion. So that's all about precipitation. Thank you very much.